Good plush.
It goes with my big Kirby plush. That big Waddle Dee. We also have a Zoro pillow on the couch. It's going to our friend Annie. Is the sock pup in there, honey? And they had some new Hololive
I love
stuff.
the cinnamon roll.
Yeah,
Wait,
they
there's
had-
more?
They had some new Hololive stuff. Hang on.
Nene.
It's a fucking sock puppet.
The creature. The joke is I could say that about all of the members of
Come
Hollow
here
One.
and give Nene a hug. There's a Pecora one too, and I wanted the Pecora one. And as I was playing, I put one go on this one, and Amber goes, "Oh, didn't you say you wanted the Pecora?" I'm like, "Yeah, but like they're not really great, so I don't think I'm gonna really get it. You have to get lucky." And it grabs it, and it goes ding 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 whoosh, into the hole. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I guess I got a Nene one." But yeah, it's a fucking sock puppet, which is wonderful. We have the waifu tower over there. Amber got 2 Mikus and a Akane, or sorry, a Kana Arima standee or figure, because of course she did. We met our mandatory 1 Miku quota, so we're good to go. It's in the contract I signed when I got engaged. It says win round 1 requiring at least 1 Miku plush per visit.
Well,
so
buddy,
I don't make the rules.
we're here. We're alive, and we're gonna we just gotta get into it. Because that'd be how it is. We were not live last week because John could not do it, and we decided
I had to work.
You did, and we decided that we were gonna do. We were just gonna wait a week. And we're still gonna try to do this week to talk about episode 10s of our shows and decide top 3. So that's what we're gonna do. We have 4 shows to talk about: Crush at Work, Sakamoto Days, Medalist, and ZENSHU. Not in that order. But we will be talking about those 4 shows. One of us will not be here. One of these shows will not be here for next week for our top 3. And we're just there's gonna be spoilers and harsh language, and it is time. You might be surprised.
Yeah, covers it, yeah.
You might be surprised to find out that there is no bolds on this power ranking this week.
Crazy how that works.
Yeah, okay. Is it just?
Wow.
You just did it up in a way where it happened. Yeah.
There's a little bit of
Wow.
variation.
Oh god, it's so blown up now because there's only so many names.
I made it really big, yeah. I made it really big. So it
No, it was like a very like.
Wait,
It's-
I think it's really. Wait, is it just me or are there no like?
Oh my god,
Wait,
are there no?
No,
duplicates?
Sean and I.
Oh my god, I was like,
I was checking. I was like,
there's no
there's
dupes
no
in
way.
this setup.
There's no way that's possible with like what I'm seeing, but like I can't think enough to.
My mind's telling me
figure it
no,
out.
but my body's telling me yes.
Because of the way it's split, it would be impossible because we all put the same 2 things in top 2 and the same 2 things in bottom 2, which means there's only 4 possible setups. But it's crazy. We have all 4 unique combinations of that.
there was going to be one, and then Mason changed it.
Boo, Mason. Boo.
Oh.
Huh.
I stand by what I did.
No, I
I
saw
didn't know what you did, but
I saw. Well, here I'll say it. I saw Michael's power ranking and went, "Yeah, Mason might do that too." And then he did. Just he changed it to do it.
When he's standing on business, he's a big
Which is
step
that
up.
show at number 1. But let's
think that's fair.
let's get into it. Austin, Crush at Work.
Wait, hold on. I forgot that was first. Fuck.
Gotcha.
I was like, wait, and I was
Gotcha.
I thought I had time to pull shit up.
every other week I've had to talk about Flower and Oscar to start, and that's such a weird show to start talks with.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Guys, I haven't had to talk first in about 7 weeks, so we're good.
So we get a little bit. This is not in order, but we get a little bit of our main couple. Where Masagu is like finally about to take his bookkeeping exam, and Yuisha's just kind of ribbing him, saying like, "Oh, I found the hotel, the ryokan that will stay in if you don't fail, if you don't pass." because then you'll be paying for it, and it's like $1,200. And he's like, hold on, I can't do that. That's really expensive. And she's
Wait,
like, well,
that's a
better pass
scam.
then. And
Honestly based.
they after he takes the exam, he feels pretty decent about it. He even though he hasn't historically been very good with taking exams in the past, not sure how he how he passed the company exam in the first
The
place.
interview.
But he feels pretty good about it. So like, well, now we got to figure out what we're gonna do with this wager that we put on. And it's thundering outside. Yippee.
Your turn.
Yeah, no, it's been my turn for the past hour. But more importantly, we get some scenes with Some and Hayakawa, where we kind of get more Hayakawa POV of it, where she's starting to like think about this a lot. She had a previous like offense romance with a kind of a dickwad who's like, man, having to hide a relationship or like deal with this office relationship when like you're trying to achieve too high is kind of stressful. We should break up because he's just terrified of strong women, like a coward.
True.
Same, brother.
True.
And
Same.
and she's
Relatable.
like, and she's realizing that she's like catching feelings for Somei, and they're going to a concert together, and they get really excited, and then he confesses.
Drops
and
the
then
bombshell, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like,
I
I gotta go. I'm not really sure what to do about this. And then eventually they meet up again to talk about it, drinking, and he's like, um and she gets really drunk, calls him like, oh, man, you're making my heart beat really fast, and then he takes her home. No sex, not this episode.
Boo.
His mom just comes in and is like, oh, hey, your boss is a really nice person. Is she
Here's
awake
some
yet?
tea.
And then they go out, and it's really cute.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
This episode's adorable. Man.
That was great.
It's the Hayakawa Some stuff. It's good content.
Dude.
This is what
I-
Michael's been waiting for 7 episodes.
Right.
The part where like she's at the home and she wakes up, she goes, oh man, unfamiliar ceilings. Wait a minute, why am I at an unfamiliar ceiling? This could not be good. And he walks in and is like, hey, I didn't do nothing, but like I brought you home because you were like passed out and I didn't know what else to do because I didn't know where you lived. Sorry. And then like she has a panic attack for a minute and then she's fine. And then the fucking mom walks in and she's like, what have I done? I have made a grave mistake.
So, man, who is
She's
this
like,
woman?
don't mind, it's cool.
Who is this woman? Please don't be your
Like-
mother.
As her last thing was just like having like a flashback about how the last guy like didn't want to like meet her mom basically or her family. It was just like, oh no. But the mom's great. She's adorable. Wonderful. She's like, I get it. No, you're good. You're so sweet. Like, did you need something to get out of here to get back home? You always treat somebody well, so who cares?
It is very interesting to have his mother be like, I hear you treat him well, when she's in a completely separate department. Surely just means that he just talks about them talking to each other and about music and the cafe to his mom,
Oh, I'm
which
loving
is
to see this
adorable.
girl at work, and you know we're getting along pretty good.
She's 8 years older than me. What? She's
Even
what?
better.
Get him.
Even better.
That's my boy. Let's go.
That's the best part.
That's the best part.
No, I
Okay,
thought
gotta
that
be right back.
I legitimately just thought this episode was really well done.
Yep.
I really enjoy Some this episode. I think getting a look into how he thinks and how he just approaches situations, he's a much more fun character than you are led to believe because you don't get to see anything from his side ever until like now. And now you just get to see that he's the most awkward fucking college kid on the
Yeah.
planet, and that's just
God,
that's,
wait.
it'd be like that. Yeah, Michael, this is you.
I no, well, yeah, but anyway, I love it. Like they're at the concert, they hear the song, and the immediate turn to each other. Adorable.
He's just.
Peak.
I also just like him going. Just
I
bobbing.
also one of my favorite parts of this episode is that after they have after like the day after the like initial confession, he goes. They're like talking, and he goes, "Just so you know, I was saying that I liked you, in case I got misconstrued at all, because I'm not good at talking. I need to make sure you understand. That's exactly
Just
what
to be
was
clear,
said."
sex question mark? Yes, no. It's like a little piece of paper he hands her.
Yeah, I also just really like, though we don't get a lot of it, the stuff with Yui and Matsugu this episode.
It's
I was
cute.
like, great. He's panicking. He goes, and she goes, "Just do good," and he goes, Damn, that shit work.
Like, right, he's on the phone call with her, and she's like, "Oh man, I was trying to book this place, but it's like 50,000 yen. And I realized you're paying for it, so I'm not worried about it at all." He's like, "What the fuck?" Like, anyways, good night. Love you.
You do realize if we tie, we do still both have to split this massive prize. And she goes, "Wait,
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, that's a problem for later.
what if I make it more expensive? What if we keep finding ways?"
Ooh.
That's the
What are your
problem
thoughts
for
about-
Mister. I don't know if I'm gonna pass my exam.
It's
That's
cute.
the problem
It's
for Clark.
based. I loved it. It was very good.
They're wonderful.
That's just how Amber would treat me if I had to take an important exam. So I can relate.
It's a really nice Miku.
He's like, "Oh, look at this Miku figure online, John." Oh, shouts to Amber. It was her birthday this weekend.
Yeah,
Blame her for us being
happy
like,
Amber.
we were out to round 1 with her dad and her sister. So blame Keegan and Amber for me being late. Thanks. You guys have done most of it. The show is good this week. It's just like, for me, it's like the top 3 is so like, there's 2 shows that are top 3, and then there is a third show that is a flex slot that could be anything we want it to be. This is one of those 2. It's good. Don't know if I'll put it top 3. I'll have to figure that out later when we talk about the other
Yeah.
show, because I don't recall what a lot of stuff happened this week. I'll be honest. 'Cause it's been a long week.
You watched
and a
because you
half.
watched a lot of these stuff. It was like you watched Medalist
And-
like
and
right
I
after last podcast.
Definitely
2 weeks ago.
definitely did not watch
Additional
episodes
episodes.
11, because that would be bad, and that's something we wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I definitely did not do that.
Definitely
I
No.
think. I'm not sure, because honestly, I can't recall what I did or not.
We're
this
gonna
week.
find. I have a feeling that you probably did for one show.
Oh, I know I definitely probably did, and that's okay, because I'm gonna be honest, don't remember what happened in episode 10 anyways. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go off of that and
We'll
pretend
help-
like I didn't.
We'll help you out with that.
Help me
uh,
forget
If we've
what I
got, yeah,
watched.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, no, this show's really cute. I've always loved this show. On the podcast here. So, yeah, we'll see. For me, it's just kind of like, what show do I want to see the ending to more? In terms of like, what show left me wanting to know how it ends the most, right? It's kind of like the point of the season we're at, like, and
Yeah.
honestly, all of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
Mason, do you have additional
like-
thoughts?
I am with John in that I like this episode a lot, and I also can barely remember what happened in our other shows. So,
The voting's gonna be interesting.
I watched
Now
all
we're
I
kind of
watched
at
all
the
the shows
point-
today. So
So I
They
watched
also
2
have
of
a
the
track
shows
of it,
today, and
remember.
3 of the shows I watched a week ago. One of them I rewatched today. But we're kind of at the point now where, like John said, there are 2 shows that are pretty much guaranteed to be in top 3, and then there's 2 shows that are fighting for that 3rd slot, and
and
it's
then the other one.
And neither of
We're
which
kinda-
we'd be upset about.
yeah, and it's
Wait, the
kinda
other
just
one.
the
What are you
point
talking about,
now
Michael? You watching 5 shows over there, Michael?
Well, no, by the other one, I mean like it's the top 2, and then the thing that's gonna end up in 3rd place,
Yeah,
essentially,
exactly.
as of right now.
Probably.
Hey, you never know.
If ZENSHU drops the ball on this ending, I don't know that's
Which
gonna
low
be
key, it definitely could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I'm terrified of where that show ends, because it could. And if it
Is that
does,
the
that's gonna be a really disappointing.
What?
end.
What's
Yeah.
what's
It's
actually
actually
fucking Wonder Rag, I'm going to fucking
what's
cry.
what's
I'm gonna cry.
actually what's actually crazy about it
up.
is that ZENSHU feels like it could end next week, but it won't, which is crazy. Interesting in that regard.
Yeah.
Death approaches.
Let's talk about it.
Approaches. Yeah,
Mason,
approached.
Mason,
Approaches.
I hope the show you rewatched today was ZENSHU, so that you
It
could.
was.
I figured.
Good call.
Yeah. So ZENSHU this week, we start off with QJ's funeral.
And idea what the tone of this episode's gonna be.
So we start off with QJ's funeral. It follows the same lines that we saw of the very quick glimpses of Yunio's funeral in the film. Keep that in mind. That's a mousy tool that'll help us later. It's almost like there's
No, it
quite
won't.
a few things
Don't-
that do that.
Don't lie to them. This will help nobody, Mason. This will only cause pain and problems.
I'm more.
Which helps, which could be helping if you.
If you
No.
like pain and problems.
No.
So
We love suffering here.
we then move to
Suffer.
Natsuko is holed up in her room. Luke, Yunio, and Melon are talking about like how to keep the city safe right now. And Yunio brings up, "Hey, can we get Natsuko's help?" And Luke goes, "Well, she's still kind of mourning, so I'll try, but no promises." Tries to get her to eat, and she starts like she's still grieving QJ and thinking that it's her fault that he died. And after this, she starts running to look for the bird again, the director. Goes to find Destiny. Turns out Destiny is marrying the rich guy, just like in the movie.
Oh, crazy.
Curious.
That's not good.
We then see we got to Yunio is mourning QJ at the gravesite and talks to Justice for a bit. And at first is like talking about how he's worried about Luke and how Luke might break at this point because you've seen him following Luke around and seeing that Luke like isn't eating, giving up some of the food that he has to like all the other citizens, isn't really sleeping. And Justice goes, "Okay, but how are things?" And Yunio keeps talking about Luke, and Justice goes, "Okay, no, but Yunio, you also lost your friend. You can grieve. It's okay. You can worry about yourself too." And we watch Yunio grieve. That hurt.
So good. So good.
He's still going to kill us for this week, but that's okay.
And
Austin,
then
you are muted,
follow-
by the way.
While this
Never
is
mind.
happening,
The joke's passed. The joke's
Couldn't
passed.
be me. Couldn't be me.
Damn.
Fuck my life.
during all of these segments, we see interspersed a little bits of the townsfolk talking and discussing how Natsuko might actually be a traitor and that she's actually trying to summon the ultimate void.
Yeah, they're probably right.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
definitely. And then it was Thursday.
Yeah.
And we see Mamelon and a couple of elves go into where the Soul Future Soul Future is at and erect a magic barrier. And then some of the townsfolk start rioting and trying to get to Natsuko. And shit just gets ridiculous. One of these weird like messed up voids that are like squiggles just coming out wrong shows up and starts wrecking the town. The townsfolk are rioting and trying to kill Natsuko, and just everything's bad. And then we see the entirety of what Natsuko had relayed about how Luke breaks in the movie happening, where she tries to save a kid, gets almost eaten by a void. Yunio tries to save her, and then they both get eaten by a void, and then the townsfolk kill the void so it absorbs itself. And Luke starts to break, and that's how the episode ends. I probably missed something in there. I feel like I am.
There's a couple of things that I think are really neat about this episode that I personally want to touch on.
Yeah.
We get the scene with Natsuko and like the town elder, where Natsuko decides to tell the town elder about what happens in the Tale of Perishing. To which the eldest response is, that sounds about
neat.
right. And what it boils down to is her essentially going, yeah, we were always screwed to begin with. The 9 heroes were never going to save us. It's just
We made that shit up, bro.
it is better for people to believe that there is a hopeful end when they reach their end than just know it is over to be over. That is fucking bleak. Holy shit, dude. That's wild. And I do not blame Natsuko for hearing that and essentially going, why do I do with this?
Well, she hears it not only from her, but also from Destiny. Just saying that there is no hope.
Well,
Yeah,
there's no other option, so
I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the Destiny thing looping back around because it feels the least justified of the events looping.
but it's very much just like the story is reverting back to
Yes.
its original form, regardless of all the changes she's tried to make. Which is the whole point, right? And so
Supposed
it's
to just be like the first hint of like it doing that.
Yeah, there are a
Which is-
couple of things that are obviously still not 100% right yet, which will be interesting. Like, again, by this point in the story, Memelin is dead. Instead, now she just is missing an eye, which is cool and rad.
she looks
Yeah.
cool.
She does look sick.
Instead, now she looks sick, bro.
Who knows what the fuck they're doing in there?
Right.
Are they summoning the ultimate
Maybe they
void?
said, "Fuck it, you know what? Run it back." Honestly,
There's definitely something else in my brain. We get lots of scenes with Natsuko where she starts to kind of like start to look positive about certain stuff, and then something happens that pushes her back to being very negative and doubtful that things are gonna go well. And as Michael pointed out very early in this show, the position of her hair throughout the entire episode is entirely dependent on that. And it is based and it's really cool and a
It's
really
so
neat detail.
Cool.
I love metaphors.
Yeah.
I love visual metaphors.
I can't believe Luke almost fucking kills a mob of townspeople. That is
That's
He's
such
like,
a
I'm this
crazy.
close to killing all you
Hon-
fuckers.
honestly justified.
Yep. Exit.
Oh,
Ekariwa.
I can't believe I can't
no.
believe I can't believe Unio's actually the glue that holds this entire world together. It's crazy.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's
Everybody
wild.
else just looks at Luke and they're like, "What a great guy." And Unio looks at him and goes, "He's about to fucking break apart the seams, and he has not been told anything by Natsuko that would imply that is going to happen."
It's like, my
just
brother in Christ,
yeah.
our hero's about to commit genocide. Oh no. Oh god.
It's just him looking at his bro and being like, "You ain't good, dude. What the fuck? You gotta do something about that."
Like, bro, you good? He said,
I'm
I could
not
just kill them all.
I'm not allowed-
I could just,
I'm not
everyone
allowed
sucks.
to be good.
Everything sucks. And then they get yoinkied. Yoinkies blanketed by the void.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get eaten
Certainly,
and then
this will
junkie.
only bode well for Luke and his mental.
It's going great.
Absolutely.
I see nothing
Definitely
wrong
nothing
with this.
bad can happen here.
I mean, nothing much worse can happen here, to be fair. Like,
I mean,
It
Luke
doesn't
returned
get
to the
much
Ultimate
worse.
Void and
Luke having the mental of a top laner in a game casted by Captain Flowers.
Luke having the mental of a top laner, end of sentence.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Luke is just getting ganked, and it's not fair. It's not his fault. It's
He's
his
getting
team's fault.
camped. He's getting camped.
He really
He's getting camped,
is.
and his team is still
Oh.
dying in bot,
Oh
and his
my
bot lane's still dying. Like, he literally watches bot lane die to his laner. Like,
But yeah, the sport just died.
Unio just died. It's a fucking Natsuko's just way.
True.
Yeah. So I should say Crush at Work and this have 2 episodes left. Sakamoto Days has 1, and Medalist will have 3.
Let's go medalist.
So this has 2 episodes more of content for it, which actually is probably right because you have to resolve this and then resolve the actual entire story of this show. I imagine.
Full episode medalist.
Yeah.
No, ZENSHU's good. It's just off the walls. Like, oh no, oh shit, oh fuck.
I did think
Um,
this was a really incredible episode.
the conversation between Unio and Justice,
Fucking
like the moment
peak.
Justice starts speaking, it hammered home like, yeah, Justice is like one of the greatest characters ever.
Yes.
Justice
Man,
is
why the
just
fuck did you write her out of the
so
original author?
good.
What the
I
fuck?
was gonna say I really like the fact that we get these graveyard scenes that almost assuredly, because of the way that we know the tale of perishing happens, no fan of the actual story in the world gets to ever see.
They don't
because,
actually
yeah,
exist.
and it's like these are probably some of the best scenes of the show, or the graveyard, or the graveyard conversations. They're all rad and they all rule.
They're all so good because they
Also,
humanize
Justice,
every character
get a better
so
place.
much.
Justice, get a better place to hang out, bro. You got like you're just only hanging out in the graveyard.
Right?
Somehow, the least negative Nancy out of everybody is the one that hangs out of the graveyard all the time. But you know, it's interesting the parallels the show's doing. Like, oh, everything's reverting back except for like the small tweaks of like, okay, is Memelin gonna die? Is she gonna be killed by Luke somehow? Like, what's the end all be all here, right?
Yeah.
Which is where we're like, man, this show could either go peak territory or absolute dumpster fire end territory. I hope it's leading towards the good end in terms of like having a good ending. It could have a bad ending and still be a good ending, you know what I mean? But I hope
So-
it's getting towards that way.
My thing is, we're already much further along than the last Mappa original, and that is a good sign, in my opinion. Because the
Yeah.
last one was Buchigiri.
That's true.
And,
That's true. I have not actively
Mm.
stopped watching an episode to record a 15-minute rant about it, about how much I hate it. So Zenshu's doing great.
Yeah.
That's still a crazy thing that happened.
Very high bar to hit. I know.
I
What a-
know.
What a moment in podcast history.
True.
God, Sean, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
Well, you know what they say. It's
What do
time
they
to talk
say,
about Sakamoto days.
Damn, that's crazy they say that.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Well, you know what they say.
You know what they say.
When God gives you lemons, you find a new God. Anyway,
Something-
Sakamoto.
Something Sakamoto days. So Sakamoto days. Everybody's tired from the lab, and so we have decided that we are gonna go to a bathhouse.
Spot A.
The first half of this episode is the family and the family, everybody with the exception of Heisuke, because he doesn't need to rest, gets to go to the bathhouse. They get there, and the guy who runs the bathhouse looks at Sakamoto and goes, "Hold on a minute," and then as he procrastinates getting Sakamoto his towels, a grave mistake, he realizes that him being a former hitman who left the business because he was bad at it has a chance to make so much money and not have to work at his mom and dad's bathhouse. So he tries to kill Sakamoto, and thus along with it Shin, inside this bathhouse, and shenanigans ensue, and Sakamoto's fucking built different, as we already were well aware.
Has the greatest bathhouse experience ever.
He does. It's truly great for him. He's coming back all the time. Sakamoto gets blasted by insane water pressure on his back. That would feel phenomenal. Not for Shin, who gets launched out of the bath, rolls into a batch of containers, and fucking starts bleeding from his head.
Every adult watching this show just goes, "Man, I need a bathhouse like that."
Yeah. To which we get
Fuck me up
honestly
good,
one
fam.
of my favorite side bits of this episode, which are the two kids watching Sakamoto and Shin exist in this bath and going, "Dad, can I do that?" And that just isn't even looking at what's going on. It just goes, "When you're older," and we'll come back to this later. They then burn Shin alive inside the sauna. They then freeze Shin solid inside a cold bath. They then waterboard Shin underneath a faucet. And we repeat this cycle 10 times over, and Sakamoto goes, "What a great bath." And then him and Lou play the most insane game of table tennis ever. Meanwhile, in the background, the assassin has given up and gets beat up from some guys who lived in the same town. And we're like, "Hey, you said you were going to leave it and make big, and now you're back here working at your parents' bathhouse. This bathhouse is dumb, and your parents are dumb, and you're dumb." And then Sakamoto goes, "Yeah, I'm tired of that," and murders them in cold blood non-lethally.
No, he does not.
Yeah, non-lethally.
He loses his ping pong ball, bro. It happens sometimes when you play the game.
Yeah,
bro.
Lou got a point.
You watch ping pong the animation. Sometimes that ball just flies off the table. Not much you can do about it.
Yeah, and so at this point also Sakamoto has gotten himself ice cream. And as he gets himself ice cream, the two kids go, "Hey, Dad, can we have ice cream?" And he goes, "When you're older," which is a fucking crazy thing to tell your kids.
Comedy comes in threes, baby.
It's
Help.
great. It's great.
Help,
I think
yeah,
it's the
help
third
kids.
bit.
Sakamoto basically just tells the guy, "Don't mention anything about you trying to kill me. I'll be back. This bath rules. Goodbye."
Bathhouse is awesome.
So then he calls his dad and he's like, "Dad, I'm fully committed to the bathhouse now. I will become your successor." And we don't hear his dad on the phone, so we get older delivery through him repeating the conversation, and you just hear him go, "Oh, it's too late. Yeah, that checks. Sorry, Dad."
You gave the bathhouse to my brother? Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't
That
take
is
things for
understandable.
granted. Okay, fair enough.
And then we enter what is very clearly going to be our closing arc for the season, which is the Wu-Tang Clan. The only thing I can think about seeing Wu-Tang's name, as they call him.
I also thought Wu-Tang Clan. I
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
the only thing I can think
rappers?
about when I saw it.
Yep.
The Wu-Tang.
But
the rappers?
an old childhood friend of Lou has come to take her back to China to become the new head of the mafia, their family's mafia. He is the worst character physically possible. Sometimes you are dealt a hand and you have to get the trope out. You have to get one of these out of the way, and he has been assigned the task of being a stalker pervert. He has followed Lou around forever since they were kids. Lou wants nothing to do with him, nor the family business. Lou talks about how much he cares about the Sakamoto family and wants to work for them, and it causes him to have a massive nosebleed all over Lou, to which she breaks down crying, and you know what? Fair, girl, I feel you. And Shin is like, "We need to get rid of this guy." And Wutong goes, "Okay, here's the deal. Competition. I'm not gonna fight you, because I'm not dumb. You will kill me. Brutally, non-lethally. So we're gonna do a special triad competition, and if I win, Liu has to come back. If you win, I'll tell you who put the bounty on you, Sakamoto." And respectfully, Sakamoto and Shin go, "Why do we do this? This is dumb. No, go away." And Liu goes, No. This is a chance to get information about you. Let's do it." They didn't change Sakamoto and Shin into suits and Liu into a just a regular dress that is, I'm surprised is not more of a Chinese dress. It is just kind of a regular dress. And it is revealed that this final showdown for the season is going to be gambling. And somehow,
gambling.
despite being hitmen, Shin and Sakamoto have never gambled a day in their lives. Which, you know what? It'd
Based.
be like that.
Based.
So we are setting up this showdown between them and Wutong in, as I guess they have to learn how to play blackjack. Oh no, it's so hard.
Also, Mr. Stalker Pervert triples his money
Right away.
in the first 5 minutes.
World's
He bets
fastest
it
game.
all.
All in. It's a classic casino scene. I go all in. It's like, that's a terrible choice. If you have a good hand, no one's gonna call. People are just gonna fold, bro.
I will say I'm interested to see what they have for the first time I think ever in this show set Sakamoto and Shin into a very losing situation, which is rare. So that is an interesting thing to see how what they're gonna do about it. I like the bits of stuff we're actually getting out of Liu from the little bit of this end of the episode. I thought this is a seemingly almost a transition to kind of start to have her maybe grow up a little. She is still a child, after all.
Maybe.
This is kind of a thing you do eventually need to do, is give Liu a little more time to actually be a character, and not just person who starts problems all the time. Unfortunate that the character tied to this is not great.
Yeah, Lou development W. The antagonist of this arc L. I really don't like.
They're not even really like an antagonist because they're not actively trying to
I'm saying that
Sakamoto.
He's
that
an,
as,
he's an
Lu's
antagonist.
I know, I
He
know
is
you're
an
saying, but,
antagonist
it's
because
just
he's trying to take away one of our main party members. And anytime you try to steal a party member, you're an antagonist.
Yes.
yeah, it
Like
like
split up the family.
it felt a
Family, yeah.
little bit weird with like the very tone shift between like first half of the episode being like its own contained story arc and then its own contained story, and then we're like, oh, suddenly we're setting up for the transition into the next like actual relevant piece. But it's another antagonist. I'm still just gonna say it like
That's
that.
fine. No, I'm
That
just
I'm not that I'm not the biggest
Yeah.
that I'm not the biggest fan of, nor am I like the biggest fan of the setup into like what drives them into this conflict. But it's still going to be a very interesting like last episode in how they resolve this, but at the same time it makes it like it's not one of those like it doesn't feel like it's going to be one of those like really big, punchy finales based on
Yeah.
just like what the
Stakes are.
stakes are.
It is only a first. It is only it is a split core finale, so it's not like it doesn't have to be grand necessarily, but obviously that isn't like it is a fair point. You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do next episode, and it's gonna be the end, and that is certainly something to keep in mind.
It's because there's only one left. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It feels so wrong.
Yeah,
Like
it's
this
Because
is
so
like
well,
out of nowhere.
it's 22, so they split it dead down the middle.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense, but it also is just like that kind of yucky timetable.
It's just we so rarely have shows that end at 11 nowadays.
Yeah. It's almost always 12 to 14 now.
Michael, you want to talk about how much you hate this character?
I mean, the fact that we get this like really great first half was really funny. A lot of really great jokes. Capped off with one of my favorite bits ever, which is you have the slow closing of the doors that stops for a second just for him to go, yeah, that makes sense. To then we go, okay, we've got them at the diner. Okay, we're vibing. Guy walks up. I'm like, okay, we're gonna beat the fuck out of him.
Another assassin. We're gonna
Sits down. Worst anime trope ever. One of, if I was to make a list of bottom 5 anime tropes, guy getting bloody nose is like number 2, if not number 1. I get happened and I was like,
Fishman
oh.
Island.
Fishman Island is.
Yeah, that's like
very-
probably the worst part of Fishman Island. That's out of Vanderdecken as a character. But it's
I mean,
it
Michael has a
certainly is
really
a trope that it certainly is a trope that should have been left back in 2014. As I said to Sean earlier, it was funny. I think maybe the first time I saw Black Star do it back in 2012.
and
Maybe.
it stops being funny real quick.
Yeah, and it stops being funny the second time he does it that same episode.
It is objectively Sanji's worst character trait. Crazy.
Big true.
I think the setup from story, like I think this could be neat. I do
Yeah.
I do think it's funny that we set up. I've got to go gambling, and they're like super cool looking. They get in, they're in their fits. Don't know how to play poker.
I don't understand roulette. How does it work? There's colors. We spin it. I don't get it.
I can remember shitting to someone lose all of his money playing roulette because he's a dumbass and doesn't like think about it. That's the single game where his talent doesn't work.
Yeah, he does kind of get to just cheat at poker, which is the fun thing.
Yeah.
See, my hope
which I
is
assume
that
how they're gonna use that, but
my actual hope is that the thing that is going to have to happen is Lou is actually going to have to help them, and this is going to be a very Lou focused episode, which is
I like that.
probably how it should be.
Yeah.
I do think it's really. Oh, we also do get an after credit scene for this episode.
Oh,
Where
is there?
Yes. It's not important, but it certainly does
See,
happen.
the issue with Netflix is that its
tries to
credits
skip
is
you right to the
5
next
minutes
episode, yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Because it has the actual credits into the Netflix credits, which are like double the length of a normal credit sequence. So when I see EDSR, I'm like, okay, good.
So what this after credit sequence is we see that Seba and the boss from who is like the guy who was like in charge of with Seba who kidnapped Lou have opened a crepe shop because Seba wants to open a crepe shop. And so they make crepes together.
Yeah.
They listen to a radio where they make like 3 poop jokes in a row, and the guy goes, "Please turn that off, Seba." And Seba goes, "Fine." And then he makes a crepe, and then Lou and Lou's the wife and the daughter of the Sakamoto family shows up, and they're like, we would like crepes, and Seba goes invisible and leaves the dude alone to try to figure out how to make a crepe, and then he's just holding his crepe floating in the crepe stand, and so it gets like TV wide coverage because there's just floating crepes. It's just a little funny stinger about characters who are very clearly still around because they were not fully dealt
Trying to
with.
just like leave the
Yeah.
assassin field after they get bodied by
Where'd-
Sakamoto.
where'd they go?
Actually,
Yeah.
it's your point 5 chapter.
Yeah, exactly. It's your week off.
Actually, non-assassin life, pretty good. Oh,
Yeah.
that is good. No, I agree with Michael though on the Netflix thing that sucks is that like it won't just like start rolling credits. It'll like start trying to get you to watch something else. And so you're like, okay, I guess I'm done now. Because if I don't click on the screen in 0.35 seconds, it's gonna pick like fucking Love is Blind season 5 to start up here. Like but yeah, I thought this episode, like you said, started off really good, is fine. Not the greatest fan of this last arc we're going into here, because A, I didn't know it was the last arc. And B, like it just feels like okay, but like where's the I don't want to say where's the stakes, because obviously like, you know, lose at risk or whatever, but it feels less like high stakes than usual because it's not really like assassins, you're just like making a parlay per se.
I think it
Baby
doesn't.
back fight arc.
I think it does a little. I think something that it maybe does benefit from is that I think at this point it's hard to be like, here's this random guy who's tied to Lou. How do you make him threatening to Sakamoto, who has very clearly shown that fighting is not a good option against him, right?
Mafia's
So,
not
like-
exactly the best matchup.
Like this is like the only way to make there even seem like there is stakes here, right? Is by putting them in a situation where they aren't
Where
just
there's literally
relying.
stakes because
Yeah.
it's betting.
Yeah.
It's a bad joke, I'm sorry.
I can't wait for everybody to start gambling, and Sakamoto doesn't bet any of his money, and he's actually put it all in the stock market, stock market.
Market?
Yeah, the stock
stock
market, the
market?
stock market.
The stack mac.
And they get to the end of the episode, and Sakamoto's like, "Look at all this money I gained on Bitcoin."
Sakamoto
That would be
crypto.
fucking hilarious.
Holy shit.
That would be a great end.
Because
It's
this
called
manga,
Assassin Coin.
this
it's just
manga
treated
is
as
recent. This manga is recent enough.
He invested it all in the Dogecoin.
ass.
To the moon.
Moto coin to the moon.
Sakamoto's gonna pull the rug out of some poor unsuspecting bastards.
Rug pulls on the assassin crypto coin market. People threaten to kill him. He says bet.
Well, Michael, here we are. What does Medalist decide to do this week, Michael?
God, Medalist decides that, you know what? We don't really need to actually see any of her break time. Because you know what? She was just taking a break. So we cut to like a million years.
Fuck you, time skip 6 months.
No, it's more than
It's a full
that.
year. It was a full year.
Well,
It's
it's been a year since she started.
It's a year since the first Mako
Oh,
Cup,
like-
so it's at
Yeah.
least like a year and a half,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
Since
the
the
longest
start of the
time.
skip. Anyway, time skip to this episode like just like hard starts us on or flat opens us on. Okay, and that's Inori Yuitsuka, or we see her do a little trick, and then he goes Inori Yuitsuka is in first place, scoring a 58 point something or whatever, and you're like, she scored a what?
Excuse me?
It was a 24 last time. What the fuck happened? And then they go, and then she gets it, and he's like, yeah, let's go. You're level 5. Only one more, you'd be level 6 or level 4.
One more till your prelims.
Yeah, one more, then you'll be able to compete in a level A, in like the same thing Hikaru's in. And you go, oh, that's
Huh?
that was a jump.
That's a jump.
Oh,
It's
you've
literally something where
been
it's like,
cooking.
it's literally the thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna take a break. It's like it's been a year since the last Mako Cup, and you're like, it's been how long? And it's
Yeah.
like, and 58, and you're like, how many points?
Yeah, I mean, because
Where?
the
What
last
level?
tournament we saw was all Japan's.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. But yeah, it's a long jump. But realistically, they kind of got around it by going. The time in between was just her practicing. It was her healing from the almost shin splints to going and practicing, because there wasn't more we were gonna get out of her practicing there.
Which honestly, good job, show. Let's skip all the
And-
boring
Yeah,
practice shit. Let's
I
get
do
back
think
to
it's neat that we just go to
action.
more important stuff happening.
Yeah, we'll talk about this, but like, yeah, we'll talk about this after. Let's get to the recap.
It's because of what they want to
Yes.
go into with the story next. Because like after this happens, they go, the big thing to get into level 6, it's level 6 is what you're trying to get into, I believe. And the big thing, we learned about later that there's a difference between male and female levels. That's ridiculous, goofy ass system. But
Sounds like
that's the big thing. They say a lot of people get to level 5 and stop. This is the wall. Because level 6, the thing for it introduces you have to, because after this one you have to do doubles of every single jump. I still don't know what the difference between a SAKAMOTO and a Lutz is. Doesn't matter. But the important thing is that for this level you need to be able to do a double axle. That's like, oh, it's axle. It's guys jiggling the keys. It's the axle. It's the figure skating jump.
It's the one that we actually know what it is, sort of.
And essentially they go, the thing that makes the axle difficult is the only of the 6 jumps that you start forward. So to do and you always end on jump backwards. So it's realistically a 2.5 spin jump, not just 2. Which then elaborate, we're going, it's kind of more like 3 minus a half and less of 2 plus a half.
Yeah.
Which, sure, whatever.
Whatever makes your brain tick.
I
girl.
actually do
reason
get
behind
what,
it.
yeah, because the idea is that like because you're doing the half, you might as well be doing a full.
Yeah.
So like it is
It's
like
almost
do
easier to do the 3 than it is
Yes.
to do the 2.5.
Yeah.
yeah because you
Um,
have to like pull back kind of mentally. It's difficult. I
Yeah.
get it.
Landing backwards is also just like unintuitive and awkward, and I would fucking
Die.
fall my die. Yeah.
But
But
then
then
we also get introduced to a silly bit. It's like it coincides with the next thing. That Tsukasa has a hard to pronounce last name, which is a bit that's never come up before. 'Cause
It's
we've never heard his last name.
it's crazy to get this
Funny.
episode 10.
Yeah, and Akeyuraji isn't that hard to pronounce. I guess it's a little hard to remember, but
Yeah,
like
Kayanoji.
yeah, something like that. Ayana Koji.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah,
he's a
but the-
mastermind.
yeah, but like the big other event of this episode is a small blonde child
Rio.
named Rio Sonidori.
Small blonde child.
Small blonde child is a very very vulgar child. This kid curses a lot for being
Small
like 8
asshole.
years old. He's like 12, I think, because they're in middle school now. I think the main group of them, whatever. He's here because he's kind of being a little pussy ass bitch. He doesn't want to work with what the fuck's his name?
June.
Yeah, he doesn't want to work with June because June's not exactly a good coach. He kind of we get like a bit later where we see him like teaching Hikaru. He just goes, "See that thing I just did? Do it." And she goes, "Okay." I'm like, "That's not how you coach someone. That's
How you coach that somebody?
like, yeah,
Yeah,
apparently
yeah,
that
I
you
mean-
Coach a
preacher
prodigy,
that is
brother.
Hikaru. But yeah, he's gonna join the club that Tsukasa works for. Because he just wants to get away from that other club.
The method of coach is really
Yeah.
just like
Yeah. We also learned that his dad is essentially the person who was scoring second place every time June was scoring first. Like they are this was the person that got Tsukasa to try figure skating. I was like, oh, that's neat, cool connection. I want to say that I tried to look up his dub voice actor. It's not out yet. It's not officially known information. I think it's Alex, but I don't know. Anyway,
I think you're right. It
whatever.
sounds
Yeah.
like him.
But yeah, essentially the big thing here is that this is where we learn. It's like it's like we get a little like Rio goes to join one of their practices. And Rio's going to this school apparently because his friend goes here. That's the official reason.
I
The
actually
official reason.
think it is the
Yeah,
reason.
maybe- yeah.
Given how he interacts with this kid, I think
Yeah.
Rio just wanted to have a happy bit of time
It's
away
one of
from
the reasons to
people.
give him
It
some
is really
time.
funny.
and to also make him feel a little bit better and gas himself up a bit. But
Well,
Yeah,
Ri-
it is really
so
funny that he shows up and he just goes, it's like, yo, what up, homie? It's like absolutely different character we've ever seen Rio
Mhm.
be up to this point.
he literally goes from like stone face, like, yeah, sure.
the world-
Hey, buddy.
It's my-
what you guys
He's like
doing?
my friend, and he like waddles over to him. He's like, "Do you have a Nintendo Switch on you?" And he's like, "Yeah, but
You
let's
got your
skate. Let's go skate first."
Yeah, Great.
Bro, you got the new Monster Hunter?
But yeah, then Inori goes like, "Hey, I wanna be friends with you.
He
I
goes,
heard you're also in level 5." And this is where we learn that the difference is actually insane. Because what he needs to do for his level 6 badge, this is a triple axle into double axle combo.
Combo, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? What a crazy difference in these two things.
And it's like the giant wall between 5 and 6 for
Yeah.
men too, because it's like such a difficulty spike.
But yeah, so we kind of get, and then there's a big clash of ideals between Inori and Ryo. Inori's like, I'm gonna get good and I'm gonna win. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go beat Hikaru. And he goes, you're actually insane. That just will never happen. And she goes, I don't care what you think, small blonde child. I will
Coach is
do what
mid
I
as
want.
hell.
And she's like, nah, Tsukasa, the GOAT. He's like, I don't even know who that guy is. What did he do? And she goes, oh, he ice danced. And she goes,
Existed?
and he goes, oh, he ice danced. He doesn't even know what a figure. He doesn't even know how to do a double axel. She's like, I don't know.
I didn't
I also
ask.
don't fucking care.
I don't know, bro. He said to do a triple axel, so I'm out there gonna go do a fucking triple axel for this man. I will run through a door for him.
Yeah. You also do get a good moment before
Backflip.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where like Ryo's like skating, because he's trying to do the whatever. Yeah, because this is where we get the thing. Ryo does a double axel, and you're like, wait, why is he locked at this level? And that's where you get the level difference. And then Tsukasa goes, no, he's kind of like really good, but then Tsukasa does his whole analysis thing, and he starts gassing up Ryo. Ryo's like, oh damn, like he like sees it, he understands. He understands shit. And then Ryo goes, wait, no, I'm not allowed to be happy. I'm not allowed to have this person gas me up.
He really does do this.
This guy sucks.
It's like I can't let him gas me up. I'm dog shit.
This
It's like,
poor,
what?
I'm not
this
gonna let him make
poor,
me think I'm good at figure skating.
this,
Fuck this guy.
this poor kid.
It's a crazy moment.
We have fucking soon on our hands, man.
Tsundere child.
No, there's no dairy. It's just soon.
And then we get the end conversation with Inori and Tsukasa, where they're outside.
Wait, I mean,
Well,
that's when Inori does
Yes.
the on-land double axel. And Tsukasa goes, oh wait, you're gonna like cook because Inori's like, I want to get better. I want to be able to beat Hikaru. And Tsukasa goes, you've already been like skyrocketing. You do not understand just how crazy it is that in like a year and a half you have gone from prelim to level 5. And then she does the thing, and he goes, "All right, bet we're gonna do this." Actually,
Oh fuck, she's
Yeah,
actually gonna do it.
because Inori wants people to do the thing that is Ryo's badge. She wants people to do the triple into double, which is a crazy jump for the fact that she can not do a double yet.
She wants.
I
But-
think it's solely
But
because she
she
wants to prove
can.
how good of a coach that
Yeah.
Tsukasa is.
Oh, it's
And so
definitely.
She's like, oh no, my coach is the best, and I'm gonna prove it by
It's-
doing your shit before you do because
It's
I'm better.
it's
So,
half that.
elbows out.
It's half it, right? It's both her and it's for her and for him. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
both. That is definitely the thing that like starts it, but then it very much builds into like, okay, but if you also think my coach is bad, you also think I'm bad, which you do, and fuck you.
Which fair, but like, listen,
There-
I'm working.
There's a great line from Rio, which is Inori starts to get like riled up and starts to be like, I will beat her, and he goes, have you not seen her skate? And you have to remember that four episodes ago, she watches her skate for the first time on the real performance, and she's fucking sitting next to Rio. And it's so good to think
Yeah.
about that he just does not get, he fucking mental blocks anyone who's not better than him completely out of his mind. So to him and Nori's like this entirely new person who he does not know, and I think it's so funny.
He actually just mental blocks everybody that's not
His-
Hikaru
And his one best friend who he wants to play
Yeah.
Switch with.
and Mr.
Yeah.
James who plays Pokemans. That's actually how I am at Pokemon tournaments too with Austin. Like I just block out everything except for Austin. Fiance included. No.
So here's the crazy thing. I actually really like this directional shift.
I love
For the
Rio,
story.
bro. He's
Yeah, like,
so
I-
funny.
I
Yeah.
really,
He's
Yeah.
great.
I
He's such a good.
He's such a
little
good heel.
shit.
Yeah.
He's such a good heel.
and I really like the potential idea that like Tsukasa might pick him up for like different points for training. Like I think that's really neat, and I like the idea of having his dynamic with Inori. I think it's really good for the story. And and this was really out of left field. I was not expecting this to be what we were doing next. Obviously, a 1.5 time skip will do that to you. But again, I don't have any issues with it, especially the way that they basically explain of basically all we have been doing is teaching Inori one new technique, adding it to the performance, and winning. And it's like, yeah, I don't need to see that 5 times over. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's kind of just smurfing. Like it's cool.
I like the idea where it's like, yeah, and she might not meet important people again until the next, like, All Japan. So, like,
Bro,
it's not like you're missing characters who are gonna be important later. They're just all, like, scraps.
Loki, how pissed would you be if like your kid's coming into this tournament? You're like, oh, little Timmy, he's 8 years old, he's doing so well, and this fucking 12-year-old rolls up and just fucking smokes everybody, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Start last year. Fuck.
When did she start? Like, she's fucking been doing this for like 12 years. Don't worry about Timmy. And then she just like you hear her talking to the coach. She's like, oh man, this is great. All right, 6-month progress check. We're doing great. It's just like, what?
Hell no.
I was talking about this with Amber about this show. It's like it does such a good job of like making you care about each new character it introduces in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And like, I was like, okay, the story's mainly obviously focused on Inori, but like at the same time, you're like, okay, well, certainly her coach's backstory can't be more tragic than hers. Is more tragic than hers. Oh, well, that's very relatable, and that works for her. Well, certainly this character can't be that big of a deal. Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Hang on, let me go cry real quick, and then we'll watch the next episode. And just keeps compounding like good character after good character. But still staying true to like Inori is the focus, but like doesn't mean everything else around her has to be, you know, blacked out, right? We can have great characters surrounding great characters.
And it's interesting in the fact that you can like root for Inori and still root for the successes of these other characters. Like watching Emma in the previous episode, like go through her set and seeing everything that happened with her, like that's wonderful. It's really great character writing, and just seeing that and the show allowing like rooting for other competitors doesn't feel bad. Like, you get what I mean? Like,
you want all of them to succeed in their own ways, right? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
because like in the end, if they succeed, it just helps make Inori better or makes her look better for the show, right? Because they succeed and she still wins, then that's an even bigger win than if she just succeeds on her own and someone else, you know, eats shit on their performance or something, you know? She doesn't always have to benefit from others' mistakes. She can actually succeed as the person who is leading the way, right? Which is fun to watch for the show itself.
I'm really interested in what we're setting up with June as like a coach.
He's actually just a shitty coach. He's like, all right, you see what I just did? Go do that. And she's like, yep, all right, cool. And it's like, meanwhile he's sitting there just like, he thinks he can outcoach me.
But
Fucking
there's
pathetic.
There's also
You see what I did where I told her to do what I did and she did it?
Man.
There's
I'm
also
so good.
gotta be more. Like, there's gotta be a lot more here because of how mad Rio is. Like, I just can't imagine it's just him. Because, like, part of it is clearly, we clearly get across this episode where he's like, it sucks to put in all the work and to have someone be so successful on a first run through of something you've dedicated your life to and you're supposed to be really good at because genetics, so they say. So everyone wants to believe that's how that works for you. Like, so it's like, but that doesn't justify why he's mad at June, right? That's all justification for why he would be mad at her for being better than him. So
It could be something
Well,
just
wait,
as
well,
simple,
I
like,
mean, we did see
his
him like
dad was second to June, right? So it's like
Yeah.
he could just be like, my dad is the best. Fuck this guy for always beating my dad.
I mean, didn't he like when he watched her
He-
perform? Like we saw the coaching, and then like she performs, and he goes, "Hey, could you teach me this thing?" He just goes, "You're in the way. Like, go away."
he wants nothing to do with Rio, and he believes that
He's
Rio's
like, "I don't
a
care about people that don't have talent."
But-
That's like what he says. Or
But
whatever.
Rio also approached him and said, like, it basically implied that he's bad for Hikari, and Jun's response is, if you can't see what we're doing here, you're actually in her way. So, like,
That's right.
I definitely think there's more, like, there is a bigger thing here that we aren't getting yet, I think, in relation to how June coaches. I don't think it's as simple as he just walks up, shows maneuvers, walks away. I think there's something much deeper
I mean,
here.
but it is kind of based if he does that. Like
mean,
that is his coaching, and it works because she's just that good. It's kind of a funny point. But I agree. Like it does feel like there should be something more to
well,
it.
I think
than
there.
just,
Well,
like-
it's not that I think there should be. It's that I think there is, and we will get to it. It's just like because he is clearly, like, they are so clearly your big comparison people. At least for the start of this story, the way that we did this time skip gives me such confidence in the longevity of the source material of this, because you don't do a time skip like this unless you're so fucking confident that you need to get to the
You have the
later
time.
stuff, right? You're like, yeah, we're really cooking here. So much so that we don't need to spend the time building the basics anymore.
Why do we need to train? We've already done that.
I can
Go
already
do.
tell you everybody who is reading this on release saw this time skip and panicked that the manga was getting axed immediately.
Oh shit.
Because
oh, fuck. Oh,
you
shit.
are not allowed to do a time skip this or early in a story without panicking your entire reader base that you are getting axed. Even if the writing is so clearly on the wall that is not why you're doing the time skip.
And maybe at the time that was a thing for this manga. You know, who knows? How? I mean, actually, no. It was like like new manga of the year, like and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This would have been probably around chapter like 30 in terms
Yeah.
of like generally adaptation speeds.
So, you know, probably not, but nevertheless, like manga's good, probably, and then anime good. I trust it, so I'm hoping it can keep up being good.
Thank God Engi didn't fuck it up.
It's crazy.
That's why they fucked up everything else. They've been cooking this up.
Right?
They giveth medalist, they taketh unnamed memory.
And
Poor
yet,
Austin,
and yet somehow it got a second season.
because it's popular. Popular
'cause they
manga,
were-
go boy.
It's not even that popular. They just wanted to adapt the whole thing. Except they needed 3 seasons to adapt the whole thing at a reasonable pace, not 2.
They're like, hey, we need 3 seasons to adapt this manga, and they went, you got 2. He's like, good enough.
We can also talk about this, I guess, because it will be relevant.
What is that? A giant bag of
Me-
money?
Medalist
Ooh.
is surprised. Medalist is already greenlit for its second season.
Yeah, I did see
um,
that. Yeah, as it should.
In addition to that, while I wait for the voting to kick in, some podcast friends from the past. Shangri-La Frontier is on its third. It has its third season in production. Holy shit, that's a moneymaker, dude. I can't fucking the speed of which, because you have to understand, that's a 2-core first season debut, so 25 episodes in winter last year. I want to say. Or spring or winter last year, into
Yeah.
a season 2, 2 seasons ago, another 25 core, already greenlit for season 3 of content. They are just fucking making that shit. Also, in addition to that,
Do we have to protect or kill Unio? I mean, he is dead, so.
you don't know that. Maybe you protecting Unio this week will decide his fate.
Well, kill.
In addition to that, you might be surprised to find out that the 25th episode for Blue Box has indeed aired. So all of that season is finally done. It has a second season coming. Who is surprised to find out that Blue Box is gonna keep getting animated?
I mean, I was surprised that they didn't go for like OVA or movie just to like get to where they wanted to be, but I mean, I'm not complaining.
So, since Sean is tallying or finishing up, the new set of Pokemon cards came out called
did.
Journey Together. I managed to find cards. I know, crazy concept. And a booster box, which is 36 packs. I spent too much money on Pokemon cards this week, but that's okay. It was about market price at like $250. And so me and Amber opened a bunch of packs yesterday for her birthday. Well, 2 days ago actually, it was on the 27th. And then yesterday I woke up early so I could drive an hour back to my side of town because there was a person holding a cash tournament for Pokemon. No points, just cash. The total pot was $1,000. Which I said, honey, I love you. Happy birthday. but $1,000 is $1,000. And so I drove out left home at around like 8:50. Tournament started at 10. There were some issues because it was scuffed. So it started more at like 11. There was 12 of us. Top 4 cut into prizing. Made cut, got second place, got $250. Paid for the booster box. Problem solved.
Easy.
Still made it home in time at like 5 o'clock to go out to dinner and eat some K-pot.
Hell yeah.
I do have the
So I
results.
didn't have to sleep on the couch because I had
Let's
money.
go. I do
Also,
have
most
the
of the games are
results.
streamed. I popped off.
But before I do that,
Also was mad at me.
there was a piece of news that I
I'm so
think
mad at
maybe might have slipped through the
We'll talk about
cracks
it.
on us that I think is important because this is about a former podcast winner.
Uh-oh.
We have confirmation about Trigun Stampede second next season. It is called Trigun Stargaze, and it is confirmed to be airing in 2026.
Huge.
Cinema.
I can't wait for it to be one of the best shows I've ever seen yet again.
Let's go.
So we have no slays on ZENSHU and Medalist, who is surprised. We have 1 slay on Crush at Work, and we have 5 slays on Sakamoto Days, and somebody's about to
Whoa.
kill Yunia. What's wrong with you?
What do you mean? He's dead.
He will be now because you didn't protect him this week.
I just put what the show did. Listen,
I can't believe
I'm
it.
not here to
Yeah,
divide
yeah.
the show.
Blame the
I'm not
writer.
here to change the ending of the show. You saw what happened to the main characters of the show.
You gotta believe, man. You're the reason that this is gonna end badly.
Good.
That's right, everybody. Tune in next week to find out if it was all John's fault in ZENSHU.
It's always John's fault. Nothing is
yeah.
never not John's fault.
So
That's true.
Sakamoto Days is gone. I'd like to say that I think we have probably given this show a much fairer shake than 80% of the anime community.
Bro.
80%? Probably putting it a little bit lightly
Yeah.
still. There's still, like
96%.
I
a
think
lot of ragging on it.
How dare this show be an anime and not
I
just
will
literal manga pages?
I will love if when Core 2 comes out in summer, if there are some insane wild shit in there that people just don't get because they dropped off it because they thought it wasn't pretty enough.
Because it 1-to-1 with the manga.
And that too.
Hmm.
I think it's real. I still think Sakamoto Days is really good. I enjoy it a lot. I definitely think it is. I am interested to see if it pulls away from some of the stereotypical stuff because I find it really hard to believe it's such a popular and long-running manga if it doesn't.
It feels a little basic at times.
Yeah.
I will say that. That's
Yeah.
that's one of the problems with it when
But
we're
I-
watching it. It does feel like it kind of just like plays it safe.
But I also think that makes a lot of sense from the perspective of it was a manga in Shonen Jump. And sometimes that's what you have to do to not get axed in your first 30 chapters.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just do the thing that you know works and do it well. I don't think it does
Also-
anything not well. So,
We also have big spooky mass murders we haven't really met yet. So
yeah.
that's like half the main plot. it
Yeah,
seems like, and
I'm excited when Core 2 rolls around to learn more about Trex Note's slur.
Stain.
No,
Slur. Sorry.
No,
Wrong
wrong
one.
But yeah, so next week we will do top 3. If you're not familiar with our top 3, we will have no power ranking. Instead, we will simply rank the shows 1, 2, and 3, and they will receive points equal to the position they are in, which we will talk more about. And that also means that it'll be time for my favorite part of the season, which is stats. We'll have stats. There'll be so many
Yeah.
Oh,
stats.
Sean, I thought your favorite part of the season was
love it.
John scrambling to look through the shows that he didn't watch the previews for because he thought it'd be funny.
Well, I was gonna
Um,
say that is also gonna happen. But we will have we need to talk about that first before we figure out what's going on with that. But yeah, so that'll be it for
Also-
tonight.
Let me know if you need help with the doc again.
Yeah, I will probably start that this week, obviously, in the lead up to Sunday.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Maybe. But yeah, so everybody have a good night.